explosions rip through Tehran as Israel pounds Iran with preemptive strikes, declaring a nationwide emergency and blacking out the morning calm. Sirens scream across cities, airspace shuts, and the war everyone feared just broke wide open. Has the long-running standoff now crossed into an all-out assault? It started on Saturday morning, February 28th. Israel launched a preemptive strike against Iran, and within minutes, explosions were being reported in the heart of Tehran. Iranian state media was the first to break it. Fars news agency reported the sound of 3 explosions in downtown Tehran. ISNA reported thick smoke rising from the vicinity of Pasteur Street. IRNA confirmed an explosion in central Tehran with thick smoke visible. Tasnim news agency then reported 2 more explosions in the Seyed Khandan area of Tehran, likely caused, it said, by missile attacks. And then Fars reported something that made the scale of this impossible to ignore. Several missiles had struck University Street and the Jomhouri area, right in central Tehran. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz confirmed it publicly within the hour.
The State of Israel has launched a preemptive strike against Iran to remove threats to the State of Israel.
He then declared an
immediate state of emergency throughout the entire country.
An Israeli security source says the attack underway in Iran is a joint US-Israel operation, Israel's Channel 12 reports. The unconfirmed report says one of the targets is an Iranian presidential facility. It also says the strikes are targeting sites from which Iran could attack Israel. At the same time, Ebrahim Azizi, head of the National Security Commission of the Parliament, wrote on X Network,
"We had warned you, but now you have started a path whose end is no longer in your hands."
Back in Israel, air raid sirens were already sounding. Reuters witnesses confirmed sirens had been heard in Jerusalem. The IDF Home Front Command pushed out a national alert telling every Israeli citizen to stay near protected spaces. The army was careful in how it framed it that the sirens were, in their words,
a proactive alert to prepare the public for the possibility of missiles being launched toward the State of Israel.
The IDF added that as of that moment, there was no need to enter shelters. No missiles had yet been launched toward Israel, but the instructions that followed told a different story. Schools across the country were ordered closed by the Israeli military. Public gatherings were banned. Israelis were asked to work from home. The military specified that only vital sectors were exempt from these restrictions. Then came something that signaled just how seriously Israel was treating the threat of retaliation. The Israel Airports Authority announced that the Minister of Transportation had closed the country's airspace entirely to civilian flights. The public was asked not to visit airports at all. The smoke over Tehran and the sirens over Jerusalem were happening at the same time. Inside Israel, the government is not taking chances. The IDF Home Front Command's Tzvika Tesla says Israel is braced for potential Iran attacks in the wake of the attack on Iran. He says the Home Front Command is doing everything to ensure it will alert people in good time. For now, Israelis have been told to stay near safe rooms. It was one of the more striking moments of Trump's State of the Union address. The American president stood before Congress and told the people of his country that Iran was building missiles that would soon reach the United States of America. It sounded urgent. It sounded like a warning. And for a president who has been quietly building a case for possible military strikes against Iran, it was exactly the kind of claim that could move public opinion. There's just one problem. US intelligence doesn't appear to back it up. According to 3 sources familiar with classified reporting speaking to Reuters on condition of anonymity, Trump's claim is at the very least exaggerated. The most recent unclassified US Defense Intelligence Agency assessment, published in 2025, concluded that Iran could develop a militarily viable intercontinental ballistic missile by 2035. That is 9 years from now. And according to 2 of those sources, nothing has changed in that assessment since it was published. One source went even further, telling Reuters that even if Iran received direct technological assistance from China or North Korea, 2 countries that work closely with Tehran,
it would still take up to 8 years at the earliest to produce something that is actually ICBM level and operational.
That's a long way from Trump's soon. A US official also told NBC News that while Iran has been building towards an intercontinental ballistic missile for years and making incremental advances,
there is no indication of dramatic new progress.
Even Secretary of State Marco Rubio, one of the administration's most hawkish voices on Iran, chose his words carefully when pressed. Speaking to reporters during a trip to the Caribbean, he declined to put a timeline on any of this.
Well, I won't speculate as to how far away they are, but they are certainly trying to achieve, and this is not new, they're trying to achieve intercontinental ballistic missiles. For example, you've seen them try to launch satellites into space. You've seen them increasing the range of the missiles they have now. And clearly they are headed in the pathway to one day being able to develop weapons that could reach the continental U.S.
Outside experts were even more pointed. Darrell Kimball, executive director of the Arms Control Association, told NBC News directly,
Iran has ballistic missiles that can reach targets in the region. They don't have an intercontinental ballistic missile capability, and even if they did, they don't have a nuclear weapon to put on top of that system. Trump seems to be seeking to exaggerate the threat posed by Iran, both in terms of the scope and the imminence.
David Albright, a former UN nuclear inspector and president of the Institute for Science and International Security, told Reuters that even if Iran launched a very long-range missile using its space program, it is still, in his words, a long way away from being able to mount a nuclear warhead on top of one. He said Iran still needs lots of work to develop an adequate re-entry vehicle, the component that protects a warhead as it plunges back through the Earth's atmosphere at extreme heat and speed. Without that, a missile is just a rocket. That is the environment in which he made this claim. And the intelligence, according to multiple sources, does not support it.